What's going on, everybody? Khalipa's Tech here, coming back at you with another video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 reasons to buy the OnePlus Nord N200 5G in 2021. Before we go any further, I do want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot. But with that being said, let's get into the video. So my first reason to buy the OnePlus Nord N200 5G in 2021 is the display. This phone has a 6.49-inch 90Hz IPS LCD display with a resolution of 1080p, a PPI of 405, an aspect ratio of 20:9, and a screen-to-body ratio of about 83.7%. We also got a hole-punch front-facing camera up here. This really doesn't have a whole lot to do with the display, but overall, I think this camera looks really nice and clean, and it really adds to the look of the device. Overall, the phone has really thin bezels, giving it a nice modern look, and since it comes by default with gesture navigation, this really adds to it. Besides just looking good, the display is functionally really high quality. Being a 90Hz display, the movement on the screen is faster and smoother than the typical 60Hz display. So if you're doing stuff like playing games, watching videos, and that sort of thing, having a 90Hz display is going to make a bit of a difference. In addition to this, having a 1080p resolution in this price range is pretty impressive. Most 5G phones around this price range do only have 720p displays, and manufacturers usually do this to cut costs. But this phone does have the full 1080p, so again with the videos and viewing photos and stuff like that is all gonna be really good on this phone. Right now I do have the brightness at 100%, and I would say overall, all the nice specs aside, it looks really nice just using it myself. I do like how it looks and everything like that. And not only is the display itself really high quality, but it's a good size too. There are phones out there, even in this price range, that are a little bit bigger, but at the same time, 6.49, so basically 6.5 inches, is still a good size for a display, and it's gonna give you a nice experience with content consumption. My second reason to buy the OnePlus Nord N200 5G in 2021 is the storage. This phone has 64 gigabytes of internal storage with microSD card expansion, and while that's not really exceptional in this price range, it's still a lot of storage, and for the average user, you're probably not ever gonna need any more than that. Having microSD card expansion is good for the power users as well, because if you have lots of photos and videos, you can put all that stuff on the microSD card and have the remaining 64 gigabytes minus the system and the bare minimum stuff, of course, to use for things like apps. Now again, 64 gigabytes isn't super above and beyond. I have seen phones with more in this price range, but at the same time, objectively, the storage is really good on this phone still. My third reason to buy the OnePlus Nord N200 5G in 2021 is the processor. This phone is getting 4 gigabytes of RAM with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 480 5G processor. I ran a Geekbench 5 benchmark test on the phone, and it came back with a single core score of 507 and a multi-core score of 1554. So for a phone in this price range, these numbers are pretty impressive. For the average user, when you're browsing the web, maybe going on social media and stuff like that, and of course playing your basic mobile games, doing some video editing, maybe photo editing, basically anything you normally do on a daily basis, this phone's processing power is going to be able to handle it all really well, and it's going to run fast and smoothly. The only time I could see it really struggling is if you're playing a really high-end game like Fortnite or something like that that uses an insane amount of CPU. Then I could see this phone struggling a little bit, because even though it is powerful, it's nowhere near the levels of current flagship phones today. So keep that in mind. But if you're using your phone for more basic to moderate activities, the processor of this phone is going to be really good. My fourth reason to buy the OnePlus Nord N200 5G in 2021 is the battery. This phone has a 5000 mAh battery, this supports 18-watt fast charging, which is actually a little bit stronger fast charging than the average phone you see in this price range. So that's going to help you out a lot, because even if you do run out of battery in the middle of the day, you'll be able to charge the phone up a lot faster, so you won't have to wait as long for it to charge up. In addition to that, the sheer size of this battery is going to allow it to last so much longer than the average phone. So if you have a more mobile lifestyle where you can't be around a charger all day, but still have to use your phone heavily throughout the day, a battery like this is going to be a great asset for you. In addition to this, in the long run, all batteries will degrade over time, but with a larger battery, it's not going to be as noticeable as quickly, so you'll be able to keep the same phone for a longer period of time without having to replace it. In contrast, the iPhone 12 has just over a 2800 mAh battery, so at almost double the battery size of the iPhone 12, I think we can all agree that this phone is doing alright battery-wise. My fifth and final reason to buy the OnePlus Nord N200 5G in 2021 is because it has NFC. NFC, in case you don't know, is the technology behind contactless mobile payment services like Google Pay, Samsung Pay, Apple Pay, all that. It basically allows you to make contactless payments at cash registers and that sort of thing. So not having that feature causes you to miss out on all of that. And since it's getting more and more widely accepted and used, I think the NFC is becoming increasingly more important. Now, that being said, so many phones in this price range and even above don't have NFC. Like, for example, the Motorola Moto G Stylus 5G doesn't have NFC, and that phone is noticeably more expensive than this one. So seeing that this phone does have NFC, whereas lots of other phones, even 5G phones, don't, is really impressive. And personally, as someone who uses NFC constantly, this could very well be a deciding factor if I were to choose between this phone and another phone that doesn't have it. But those were my 5 reasons to buy the OnePlus Nord N200 5G in 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. If you want to learn more about the phone, definitely check out my full review of the device on the channel. But that's it for this video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.